Hello and welcome back to Trains Up North. In this episode we continue our look at electrics and install a point motor. If you haven't seen part 1 on electrics, there should be a link at the top of the screen now. You might want to go and check it out. To connect the dropper wires to the bus wire, what I've got is these little gadgets, again from a well-known online retailer, and they come with a strip of tags that are joined together. You get a red one, you get a black one in a pack. They come in different sizes, so this is a 10, and what you can do is you take the cover off, and there's a series of screws. If you undo the screws on one side, you can put these, just slide in. So I've just swapped it, I've just got a 12 way, and all I've done here is cut the bars in two. So I've got 6 red, 6 black, like that. So what I'd do is I'd put a feed in, so blue and black, so that would be my bus wire going in. So I put a bus wire in there, and then all my droppers, section track here, and the droppers from that I'd just go into there, and then at the other side I'd have brown bus wire coming in, and I'd just put all my brown droppers into it like that. I do use different connectors for different sections, just so that I can isolate bits if I need to. So before I install the points, there's a few things that I need to do. So if you're using solenoid point motors, you don't need to do this, but I'm using slow action. I'm going to use different point motors, and I'll give you my verdicts on each. The points come with a little spring in them, so when they go, it holds them in place, so the switch blades don't move. Switch blades are the ones that move on here. So the blades that move are called switch blades, and the spring just holds the switch blades in position. So what we need to do is just remove that, and as I removed it, little spring, just tiny, there we go, just popped out. Just pop this back in. So just pop it back on, and with the Pico ones they just slide. So now it's not got a spring in. What will happen is, you can see, set it to centre, it stays in centre as it moves. So now if I set it like that, you'll find that it does move, but with the slow action point motors, they'll hold it in place. Got here Hornby point, and again I'm going to use slow action. So as you can see, give it a little nudge and it just holds it in place. Don't know if you can hear the click. And again, what I'm going to do is, without knocking the camera, hopefully, lift that off, and you can see, hopefully, a little spring there. We'll just flip that out. Tease up that off the tie bar. So just be careful if you're using like big pliers like that, because it is easy to damage your point work. This just has a couple of little lugs in the back. There's 2 little holes. If you break the lugs, it's not the end of the world. A bit of super glue or plastic glue, hold it back in place and just push it back together. As you can see, I've wired this so that the tails are on the outside. It doesn't matter whether you wire them that way around or the other way around, so they're on the inside. It's just personal preference. This one is wired to the inside. What you need to make sure though is that there's no bare wire there no bare wire there in the middle that's going to touch and short. So I'm going to do this one again. Just haven't done this one yet, so push that up. So push it towards my left. Lift it up. Lift it out of the way. And I don't know if you can see that spring's still there. So, and the spring's just fallen out. So I've now got 3 springs on the workbench. As you can see, it doesn't matter whether you do this before you solder or after. It's probably slightly easier to do it when it's before you solder. There we go, it's back in. As you can see, that moves nice and freely and is ready to go. One more little thing that I do prior to installing, again you don't have to do this, is I've got these little pads from DCC Concepts. What they do, it's not quite the right colour for ballast for my layout, but they have got a printed sort of ballast on them, and they're sticky back self-adhesive. What we do is line it up. There's a hole there which moves, you see that? And what we do is place that on and make sure you can still see the hole throughout its full travel. So I've not got this quite perfect, but it doesn't matter. So what that does is when I drill a 10mm hole for the bar to come up that goes into the point to change it, it just reduces the amount of visibility and stops ballast and other bits of rubbish dropping down underneath into where the bus wires are, into the point motor, and more importantly on this section of track where the fiddle yard is. So I've got the wires soldered onto the bottom of this point. I've put the pad from DCC Concepts on. As you can see, it'll just hide the hole a little bit. The hole drilled through for the point motor is a 10mm hole. I've drilled slightly smaller holes for the cables. So what I'm going to do is we just push the cables through. It will go. So just push that cable through, and then we'll push these cables through. As you can see, the blue ones towards the back, the brown ones towards the front. So then it's just a case of getting our copy decks. This tub of copy decks is nearly empty, so I have got another one on standby should it run out. And we'll put some copy decks on the underside of the sleepers. You might have noticed that the foam's slightly different. Reason being, my local hobby shop tried 4 of them. None of them had the Woodland Scenics foam sheets in, and none of them stocked any other products that were similar. So what I've done is I've gone down to another hobby shop, again which was local, and I've just bought some foam sheets. So they're not 5mm, so what I've had to do is just double them up. But that's why the foam sheets are different from the rest of the layout. It's full of copy decks, which will hold it once the glue sets. So we'll just offer it up to the previous piece of track, and we'll just push it gently into place. I'm just going to put some isolating fish plates on this end, because this is an electro frog point. If it was an insul frog point, we wouldn't need to do this. So that's in. So now it's just a case of putting some weights on it. So I've got some weights here. So what I'm going to do, just pop that on, wait for that to the glue to set, dry, and hold it in place. While that's happening, what I'm going to do is take this piece of track here and solder some droppers to this. So we're now going to install this Cobalt IP analog point motor from DCC Concepts. So in the pack you get the instruction booklet, which is quite comprehensive. As you can see, there's several pages with diagrams to tell you how to do it. A little bag with some screws in it and a couple of other pieces. Sticky pad, which we'll use to help us mount the point motor, and of course the point motor. What I like about these point motors is how easy they are to install. You don't need to do any soldering. All you need is a screwdriver and to put the wires in. The wires go, so the wires go in the holes there, and to put the wire in you simply open it by pushing it up with something like a screwdriver, small screwdriver, flat one. Put the wire in and then let it go, and it just grabs onto the wire. Once you've installed it, if you find that it's throwing opposite to what you want, so when especially if you've got them back to back, so you've got two that are working on a crossover, so they should always work together and one of them isn't. It's a dead simple fix. All you have to do is flip that switch there and it just reverses it. You've got your DC in for your direct current, one there and one there. That's basically your positive and your negative wire. You've got the next one for a feedback LED. So if you need feedback or you want it connected to LEDs, you can connect it into that one. Then you've got S2L and S2R. They're your positive and negative from your track. And then you've got S2C, which we're going to connect to our frog, because this is an electrofrog point. So that's electrified, and to change that from positive to negative, it's done inside here. And then you've got another common S3, which is common, S3L and S3R. So if you want to connect something like a signal that changes when the points change, again you can do that using those. To install it, it's really simple. What I've got is this. So a template, looking at it, you can see there's a big hole in the middle. That's where the bar comes up from the point motor that switches the points. Then you've got the middle bit, which sits in the centre there. You've got a rail coming off there, one there, for either left or right handed points. So that's our point there. So we centre the point blades. Then what we'll do is put this template over, like so. So you can see down there, there's a light coming through in the centre of that. That's the centre of our tie bar on our points. So now that's centred. We know that's centred and good. We'll get our drill. We get a small drill bit like that, and we can pop it in our drill, and then simply drill through from the top. Drilling from the top through baseboards, and then what I'm going to do is make sure the holes are all the way through to the underside of our baseboard. So what we're going to have underneath is this point motor sat on top of those. So the point motor is going to sit like that obviously reversed. These point motors, I love them. They're absolutely brilliant, really reliable. They're slow action, so you don't get the click that you do with solenoid point motors. And what we're going to do is just open the bag of tricks. So we're going to prepare the point motor for install. So that's our point motor. As you can see, there's a little channel there, and that, so you got the channel, and that just sits inside the little channel. Comes with this, there's a little bend in it, 90 degrees. So put that, I'm going to put it up through the middle one. And this goes, there's two little holes, this goes in the top one. Put our finger on it just to hold it. Normally, on the other ones that I've had, that little bar is a little bit stiffer. For some reason it's not very stiff on this one. And then, sorry, it comes with a little tiny screw. It's got like a bit of a collar to it. That screw goes there. It's a little bit fiddly. The screw goes in the bottom hole and the bar goes in the top. Just screw it in and you'll end up with that. So that'll go underneath with that being pushed up through the hole into the tie bar. So if I get a set of points, that's the underneath of our points, that's our tie bar. So that will sit like that, obviously with the baseboard between, and then as the point motor moves left and right, like that, it'll just turn the, it'll change the switch blades and allow the trains to change track. So in the bag is some little screws like that, and they just go and screw up into those little holes like so. So that's how it's held to the baseboard. So this sticky back pad, just peel that off, and that just sticks on top of that. And then just before we install it, we're going to pull that off there, and there's another sticky pad. It's double-sided sticky pad, and then we'll screw it in, and the combination of that sticky pad and 4 screws will hold it in place. So I'm going to do that off camera. So now you can see the point motor is in. There's quite a lot of wires hanging down. These are all the droppers from the track, and that grey one, that's our wire from the frog, So I'm going to connect that in a second, put some power to the point motor. I'm just going to get a 9-volt battery and just test it, see that it works. So I've just stripped back the red and black wire. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see the bar coming out of the point motor. I've got our red and black wires. Let me find a 9-volt battery, and then we'll have the moments of truth. So put positive and negative. And that's not throwing all the way. So that little bar, the little blue slider, what we need to do is just adjust that slightly. So it's just the switch blades appear to have just moved a little bit, which is just causing a little bit of resistance to it. There we go. That's one. That's better. So what had happened there, and the reason it was a bit jumpy at the start, was so there's a gap there on the switch rail. It just moved like that, so it was a little bit more open. So what you do is push it back and just close the gap. Just do that on both of them. Now it works a treat. Obviously we've got that bar sticking up. I'm just going to switch them back the other way. But as you can see, that bar isn't going to let any trains through. So what we need to do is just cut that off. And just do that. Just cut that off with a pair of pliers. And then this cable here will be fed back to the switch panel. I'll put a label on it so I know what it is. And I'll wire the switch in. So I'm quite happy with that. So my next thing that I'm going to do is connect all the power up underneath. So I'm going to be using these and connecting them so the droppers and the bus wire. So everything is then powered. I'll then connect a positive and a negative from the bus to the point motor, which should then change the polarity on our frog there. So fingers crossed I've got it the right way around. If I get a short circuit, it's just a case of swapping the positive and negative round that goes to the point motor. So join me in a second and I'll hopefully have trains running. So, as you can see, the Class 50 runs over these points really nice now, so I'm happy that they work as they should. So don't worry, I have got another video coming up shortly where I look at surface point motors, because sometimes we can't always put point motors underneath where we want them. I've also got a video coming up on reverse loops and other topics as I continue to build my model railway. So I'd like to say thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, share, like and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.